on the north side of Highway 90. A gorgeous day here. The sunshine is beaming down on the gorgeous Mississippi Gulf Coast, and we have a first-hand view on this elevated platform where our Element Well studio has been relocated today of these vintage vehicles, and we're pleased to welcome now Ricky Mathews, host of the Ricky Mathews Show on SuperTalk Mississippi. What about it there, Ricky?
Hey, Gerard. How you doing, my friend?
Doing fine. So you just completed your show.
I did.
Right here
yeah.
From the stage. I caught your interview with the mayor of Biloxi, Fofo Gillich. This is a big event for the entire coast. And certainly the mayor is quite proud of that. It brings a bunch of people here. I was just talking about the traffic congestion last night at 9 o'clock here on Highway 90, and all the attendees, and I guess those that are enthusiasts for these vintage vehicles, lining the streets at 9 o'clock at night to get a glimpse.
It's unbelievable. It's become really a big occasion for a lot of people who own cars and who don't own cars.
I know.
Yeah.
It truly is incredible. And there are not many of these left in the country, are there, that continue to celebrate and showcase these old vehicles?
Well, the way I've been told by Woody is there are car events, but not cars where you can actually cruise.
Okay.
So the fact that we have a situation where you can go from Pascagoula and Moss Point all the way over to Bay St. Louis with the way they showcase coastal Mississippi, where if you own a car and you actually want to cruise, this is one of the most, well, this is why USA Today said it's one of the top car shows in the United States year after year. Sort
of recreating what we used to do when these cars were in their prime.
Exactly.
In the 50s, 60s, 70s. That's where you see most of the time period these vehicles are from. But that's back when gas was 15 cents a gallon, and we could do that sort of stuff.
I remember it well, unfortunately.
It's how you got to interact and mingle with your friends. You might even meet a future date, possibly even your future spouse is part of that.
My dad used to give me $1, and I said I need some gas money. He'd give me $1. It was 35 cents a gallon. I could go for a week.
And I know you talk about it with your guests as well, but we really can't overstate it. The economic impact to the area of this show is incredible.
Yeah, it's over $30 million, and I'm sure growing. What it also means is the opportunity for all these people that you see in their cars and those who are just coming here to be part of cruising. You know, to showcase all of the cities of coastal Mississippi, each with their own unique sense of place. When you bring it all together, how many of these people are going to come back? Pete Vicari mentioned to me earlier that people have come back and bought houses. So, you know, the reverberating impact of this event is probably immeasurable.
Well, we fill up all the hotels, and, of course, folks are out eating, buying stuff in the shops, enjoying themselves as they walk around. And lots of vendors, too, on the grounds as well that are selling stuff to the participants. And so it's just overall, it's just a good economic event for the entire coast.
It really is. I made the point on my show this morning. You think about Hurricane Milton about to hit Florida and the devastation that those people are going to have to deal with. We know the heartache and the lack of hope that they're going to feel. This event for them, if we could somehow capture this moment and say, you know, I know that it's difficult, but look what we were able to accomplish. Look at the celebration that Cruisin the Coast is for coastal Mississippi that has had this renaissance recovering from Hurricane Katrina. They, too, will be able to do that as well. But what a statement to the rest of the nation that you can recover from the worst natural disaster in American history.
A great point. In fact, just a few paces away from our location to the east here, we've got the memorial of those who lost their lives or were missing as part of Katrina in 2005.
Yeah, we do. And it's a somber reminder, but it's an important reminder that we have to pay attention and we have to prepare. This hurricane season is not over yet. We're obviously very aware of that. And I had the opportunity, Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Cross was in the audience just walking through. We spoke, and he joined me on my show for a few minutes. He'd been flying into Milton and had a team of people out there as we speak, but he was incognito. But he joined me to talk about, you know, the mission coming out of Keesler, the hurricane hunters, and what they're doing to protect us. We're lucky to have that unit here at Keesler, and I had the gratuitous opportunity to visit with him this morning as they continue to kind of give us a report from inside that hurricane. It's amazing. I look at them as heroes.
Unbelievable. Yeah. You've seen some of the photos that they take once they penetrate and go into the eye. It's shocking, really, just to look at those photos that they're in an airplane right in the middle of this massive storm.
Yeah, someone mentioned to him, he said, of course you're flying over, right? He said, no. We're flying in at about 10,000 feet and in the worst of the storm. And that's what they have to do for their instruments to gather the information they need to let us know the power of the storm and what it's going to do. So, yeah, we're lucky to have them here.
So I know you're not a meteorologist, but you kind of make it a habit, maybe a hobby of tracking the storms and informing folks, especially on social media. What's the latest on the Milton situation that you're looking at? Yeah,
it's going to probably hit as a Category 4. At least that's the current estimate for the National Hurricane Center. It's, people watch it on the radar, and it's doing exactly what they said it was going to do. Starts to break up a little bit. It's still going to be a Category 4 hurricane, but what's going to happen is the winds are going to get broadened, and that's going to increase the storm surge. So the storm surge, as always is the case, is going to be a big part of this story. The average home in the Tampa Bay area is at 4 feet. Think about that for a minute. And then, so they say that this could be a $250 billion economic and insurance impact, and especially if it goes into Tampa Bay. But regardless, it's going to be hundreds of billions of dollars for sure. And those people are going to need a lot of help from across the country.
And that, of course, on the heels of the devastation of Helene.
Yeah, unbelievable. Think about the volunteers, and think about the power companies that have to restore the power, and all the organizations, both federal, state, and local. Just think how stretched thin they're going to be. It's just, they're going to need help. We know that from our own experience.
Yeah, and of course, Governor DeSantis has deployed all the resources the state of Florida has mobilized all those to be ready to respond once the storm moves through. But a single state on an event this huge of this scale and magnitude, it doesn't have the resources to
No, they don't. No, we learned that well. In our case, for example, the North Carolina Baptist men were here in coastal Mississippi for years after Hurricane Katrina, rebuilding homes, and then, of course, now North Carolina needs our help. Imagine what that region is going to do. 2 million people alone just in the evacuation zone. The density of population in this area is unprecedented.
Explosive growth has been experienced across the state of Florida, but in particular in the Tampa Bay, St. Pete area. It's attracted lots of people. It's a great place to live, work, play, and so forth. And normally the weather is fantastic, but it is an area that is host to lots of business activity as well.
It is. I spent a lot of time. The Bradenton newspaper, I had responsibilities for it along my career, and you think about Sarasota and Bradenton, all those barrier islands off of Tampa Bay. You zero in, if you go to Google Earth, what you see is enormous density of homes. Some of those homes were built before 1994. That's an important date because we didn't have building codes in Florida at that time.
Yeah.
So if they don't get washed away by the storm surge, they'll get blown away. So it's going to be a tough rebuilding process.
And then you think about also the havoc that is wreaked by storms like this on hospitals and those who are infirm. You just can't easily pick them up and transport the patients.
Yeah, Tampa General, literally our regional, right there in the surge zone. Let's pray that it doesn't go underwater because there's no way to relocate. There's nowhere. It's such a large institution. It'd be very difficult to relocate those people. So they're going to have their share of challenges, that's for sure.
No doubt about it. And my guess is that the state of Mississippi, perhaps Governor Reeves, will deploy our National Guard. And it would not surprise me if the energy companies that service the state of Mississippi's footprint also provide some assistance as well.
You can bet they'll be there. And you can bet that Governor DeSantis probably knows exactly who and when they're going to be there.
Yeah.
This is a guy built for that moment, isn't it?
It totally is. And he did, there's been lots of information, I'll call it, floating around about the federal government not being responsive. And certainly there's lots of condemnation that we could make of FEMA. They could always do better in these situations. It does seem like they were slow at a minimum responding. But he did come out yesterday and said he is in touch with the president.
Yeah.
In fact, he told the president, deploy the resources to the victims of Helene. We got it covered here in Florida, except for for the minimum that FEMA needs to provide.
Yeah, you hate to see a disaster politicized. You know what I mean? Because the truth is, after a devastation, there's always going to be chaos.
No doubt.
Always going to be chaos, and it takes us working together, a village of people working together to organize that chaos and get people the needs they have. And the issues in the Appalachians were so unique because so many people were cut off. You know, unbelievable.
Couldn't have been a worse place, perhaps, in the country to have to respond to after a disaster like that. But
yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Ricky. It's a beautiful day. Lots of folks here. It's going to be a great cruise in the coast.
It will be.